We make the strings.
Alright guys, so we just spent the last couple hours, I'd say, pressure washing, degreasing the floor. And now, Trev, I don't think there's any more use for this car cover, is there? Yeah, it is time. We can officially, since you guys know, take this thing out from the car cover and plan is get it on the lift and start the disassembly and see what we got ourselves into. We're not really sure. Some of you guys commented it could just be like a fuse switch, like a circuit breaker. So we're gonna check that out. But otherwise, we're planning for the worst for this thing and hoping for the best.
Alright guys, so I got the R8 up on the lift and I'm gonna go ahead and start taking a look at a couple things underneath it. So as a couple of you guys suggested, there's that Pyro Fuse, which is something that basically, as soon as you get in a car accident, it's kind of like an airbag, has like a little like pew thing, it pops out of it, and it basically lets the car not start, makes it so the car won't start. So I don't know if this, like where it exactly is. There's not one of the ones on the negative battery cable. So what we did last time is we actually checked the starter a little bit. We tried seeing if it would crank over. But what I'm gonna go ahead and do, since the starter is right here, is I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that out, test it on the floor, and then I think looking at where the fuse boxes and stuff are, there's some behind the seats, there's some under the front kick panel, and so I'm gonna kind of double check all that type of stuff too. But I wanna pull the starter out and make sure that it's in good condition too. And then I guess we'll see if we could get the engine to rotate by itself. So the weird thing is because this is the front of the engine, there's not really a place to stick like a socket up in there to actually rotate it. I've never even like looked at one of these things before, and then now we're getting ready to tear apart the engine. Well, hopefully not tear apart the engine, but it's probably gonna have to tear apart the engine. That's kind of the assumption. So I was doing a little bit of poking around in the car, and there's a fuse box up under basically like where you put your feet, kind of kick panel that folds down. Checked all the fuses in there. There's not one of those big fuses. Haven't found that. So I just wanted to show you guys real quick what this thing actually does, because it could be something super simple. It could be an electrical issue. I mean, we've never seen the engine run. We've never heard it crank over or anything like that. So literally, it just, as soon as you hit the starter, it just clicks. So I feel like it would be kind of stupid of us just to go ahead and start yanking this whole engine out of it when it could just be something simple. I mean, we have got underneath it and tried to kind of rotate the engine on the flywheel with the screwdriver, but who knows if that's actually, you know, the right way to do that type of stuff. But I guess I'm gonna hand this to Ty real quick. I'm gonna hop in it and show like what it does. Ready?
Yep. So fuel pump primes, you can hear it. It clicks, so. That's it.
This tiny little alligator clip will.
Sounds good. Here, try to hold it.
No. I mean, that thing sounds mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was making that noise when we were trying to jump it before.
Just got the starter out of it, and you've seen the starter working just fine. We drained a little bit of oil out of this little drain thing right here, which this is all the dry sump stuff. So basically these tubes go over to this dry sump tank, which is right here, which that's where you actually change your oil and drain all this stuff. So this thing takes like 8.8 quarts from the factory. But one of the weird things was, as soon as we started draining the oil, Dave over here, he just started sniffing. I don't know, I think he's like weird or something.
It smells like automatic tranny fluid that's super burnt. And look, look how thin it is. Like, it's like...
You can see it just running down.
Yeah, no, it does smell like burnt auto tranny fluid or power steering fluid or something like that. So the story of this car was, I don't know if I explained it in the other video. The girl that owned it, she was basically renting it out to an exotic rental company, and they were doing these tours with it. So, and then we actually found some like Instagram posts and stuff online of like some people like driving it and like, you know, hashtagging like R8 and all that type of stuff. But anyhow, they were, she basically was renting it to that company, and they had it serviced, or they weren't servicing it, or something along those lines. They finally took it to the Audi dealer.
Oh, they were servicing it.
Yeah, they were doing something with it. But so anyhow, who knows exactly what happened with it? Whether, I mean, obviously that smells like tranny fluid. Oil doesn't smell like tranny fluid. I know what oil smells like. Dave for sure knows.
I know what oil, like bad oil smells like. It all smells like either fuel
or oil.
Yeah, or oil.
Not freaking tranny fluid.
It doesn't smell like.
And that definitely smells like burnt ATF. So who knows? We're gonna go ahead and drain the dry sump tank real quick, and I think go from there. The other thing I did is I hooked up a. We pulled off this whole shield right here, and I threaded in a lug nut, which is the same bolt that that goes into the crankshaft basically. And I basically had a 17 mil wrench on it with a 19 mil wrench on it, so it was hanging down here, and I was pulling it, and it was
just trying to break the bolt off.
It was locked. I mean, it's literally like freaking locked up, and it goes into neutral too. So like when you actually put it into neutral, it's not like it's locked in there, but if the clutch was locked, the wheels would spin. I mean, you put it in neutral, it goes right into neutral, and it rolls just fine. So it's not like
it would move a little bit either way. It doesn't move at all.
Yeah, it's like seriously just freaking just straight locked. So probably what happened is bearings just got seized because it got hot.
Yeah,
because no lubrication.
There's probably like the crank is like welded to like one of the rods or all of them. Who knows? If that's the case, it's gonna be a bitch to get the tranny off because it won't spin.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, it should come out.
How are they like?
So it's a. Making a little bit of progress on the Audi. So if you can see right here, that's some factory V-bend pipes right there. I don't know, what do you think you do with that? You just come right up and put some Terps keys right here? Or is there catalytic converters?
There's a cat. You get rid of those.
I don't know.
There's
I guess that is a cat.
Yeah.
Where's the V-bends for the cat then?
Probably off the header, unless the header's there.
Just part of the header.
Yeah, I mean there's the cat. Maybe what you do is
and then
you
you get two symmetrical Garretts.
some Terps keys right there, and then you just make a.
You get two 3580s.
What you do is you put one of them curtain rods, right? You put a curtain rod across here, and then you get some of those stainless steel zip ties, and that you hold up your turbos right there.
Yep.
And
that's how you do it. And then that's
how you do it. You weld everything up, and there you go. Well, you make it, and you're good to go. And then you just start it up, and you got 1,000 horsepower. Yeah.
4092s.
Exhaust, heat shield, crash bar, all that type of stuff. It's not that complicated. I mean, if we'd done this before, like 2 hours ago, we would have probably had everything done. But it's just that whole learning process of going through this whole thing. And that's kind of what makes me excited about this whole project. Is kind of like when I put the LS in my 240, or I put the 2J in my 240, or I put a K-Series in the Civic. Like, it just turns into, it's just kind of a slippery slope. Like, now that I bought one K-Series and that's all I had, and now I have like 10 of them laying around the shop. Same thing with the LS when I put it in my drift car. Same thing with the 2J. I just ended up with all these JZs. So I hope that's the same thing with this Audi. So I hope that once we get the R8, then all of a sudden a Huracan shows up, and then you know, just like a bunch of other, I mean that's how it kind of like maybe.
I mean, once you have this, you already have a Huracan. It's already all-wheel drive. I mean, it's already V10. It's already gonna be fast. And
yeah, I mean it should be fast.
Pretty much is a Huracan, but this is cooler in my opinion.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you put a K24 in it.
What if you use V-mounted K24s?
Or you put one in the front and in the back?
No.
Twin?
Inline.
If you're gonna do that, you might as well just disconnect the front drive shaft and just Tesla swap the front and.
Do like an
I mean, what would actually be the funny thing to do is just take out this whole suspension thing in the back and just leave the K24 just mounted to like the TSX subframe and just bolt it up and then just use that tranny and everything too. I don't know. I think we need to get this thing out first and then we'll start on it. So I think next thing is dry sump tank. Take out all this dry sump stuff. Start disconnecting wiring, and then I think the thing that's gonna really suck is all the wiring right there. See that grommet? That goes right into the panel right behind the passenger seat, and there's a bunch of quick connect clips in there. So in order to get to that, what we're gonna have to do is actually set this thing back down on the ground, roll it forward, take the passenger seat out, disconnect all them clips, push the wiring through.
You have to pull both seats.
I think it's only this one. I mean, maybe, but
and there's a fuse box behind the passenger.
yeah.
I
I think most of the stuff is behind the passenger. So pretty much just kind of getting the dry sump tank out of the way, get this coolant reservoir out of the way, and then I guess everything that's connected to the engine, we just got to disconnect it and go from there. I mean, I wish the engine just had like a big quick connect on it.
Like the 1 mil-spec plug?
Just
fire
or like a Saab. I mean, if this thing was like a Saab, it was just
here we
be.
go. Saab V6 swap.
Oh, there we go. I got one on the ground. All right, we need to quit. So in the middle of that ramble, I forgot to show you guys. This thing actually has a Valvetronic Fab Speed exhaust, and this thing looks really nice. Made in the USA. So when the exhaust valves are closed, it basically goes through this these two resonator muffler looking things with an X pipe, and then it comes. And then when it's not going through there, it basically just goes straight, but it still will allow a little bit of exhaust to go, I guess, through there if it wanted to. But I mean, that's a really, really nice piece. That looks really nice. So this thing should sound sweet. There is actually a video of this thing on the dyno at IE Tune, and basically if you search IE Tuned R8, it's this car on the dyno. It made 490 like wheel horse in Salt Lake City, and that was like freaking 5 years ago or something like that. But Alright guys, so I've been working on this thing. I think it's been about 7-8 hours or so that I've actually been working on it, and I'm getting pretty tired. It's about time to, well, it's like 1 in the morning, and sorry, that thing sounds like it's peeing, but it's not. We just turned it off. But yeah, so all the wiring harness and everything is pretty much disconnected from the top, all the vacuum lines, all the fuel lines, all that type of stuff. So I think we need to do the CV axles, need to do the battery cable, and then the drive shaft, disconnect these. These are the coolant lines, or the radiator hoses that run underneath the car that go up front to the front radiator. So you disconnect that stuff, kind of lift up the engine, pull it back a little bit, and then there's some more wires that go down on it that I'm gonna have to do as well. So yeah, definitely not a fun process. I don't, kind of what we decided to do was, I was talking to one of my buddies that's messed with these before. He said it's okay to basically just pull all the wiring off of the engine and leave it in the car, so you don't have to take apart like the passenger seat and pull out that fuse box and stuff like that, which I feel like if I would have did that, we would have probably already had it out by now, but then I would have had to take off all this wiring and stuff on the ground anyhow, so it kind of, you know, we saved some time, but we lost some time. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed, so we'll be back here tomorrow and get this thing out. What's the problem? What's the problem here?
We ain't got no engines!
Yeah, we ain't got no engines.
I mean,
we got plenty of engines.
We actually do. Look what we got. We got this freaking K24 right here. Oh my goodness, look at that. So, with the help of my friends right here, Ty and Dave. Well, Dave just showed up actually. He's been hanging out all day.
I did all the important stuff.
He came in and was like, "Hey, don't do that," and then.
Yeah, but we got it figured out. We got it out of here. And look at all that. There's so much room in here.
Like it looks all like. Taking that out, I wouldn't think it would look as nice and neat. Or what do you call it, Dave?
Huh? What is it?
Nice and neat and tidy.
Nice and tidy.
Nice
and tidy. Yeah. I mean, I think we could pretty much just bolt frickin'
Imagine if you put a
K-series in.
It just looked like a 5-gallon bucket in there.
It would. A 4-rotor would be sweet. But yeah,
you'd still get that IndyCar.
This over here, this engine is, it looks pretty dang big. I bet it would look tiny without the heads on it, because these heads are pretty big. But yeah, inline 5.
I think it's time for some catless headers while we're at it too.
Catless headers, yeah. I think what we need to do is just bang out these cats in these headers, or
you know how much those cats are probably worth? They're probably like $2,000 a piece for those headers.
Really?
Well, probably R8 cats.
Do you have something in your eye too?
I just itched my hand with my.
Well, I have something in my eyeball. I was laying underneath it, and I still haven't got it out of it. But safety glasses, boys. But yeah, for some reason, I feel like this thing has been out of here before. Like there was zip ties, like not OEM zip ties, maybe OEM zip ties. But I already cut it. But it was to this sensor.
I saw them on the backside, and they look. I think they're just.
They looked non-OEM, but man, So what we did is we actually took off the intake manifold and we unplugged all the wiring on here, and actually didn't have to do that.
Did it backwards.
But we kind of did it backwards. So what we talked about previously was actually disconnecting this whole engine harness right here. We have it laid over on this little snap-on blanket thing. But what we should have did is we should have just taken it out of basically pulled the back seat and disconnected those quick connect clips underneath there and just laid the harness on the engine. Instead, we did it the hard way and did it this way. So I don't know, I thought it would be quicker, but it probably wasn't, because I mean, we're gonna basically have to pull out that whole harness and put it on this engine before we put it back in, because it was such a pain to do when it was in the car. I mean, we could leave it like that, but I feel like that's just gonna be a big pain. So we do have kind of a surprise that's happening with this engine. So I guess in the next video, we are gonna be tearing this thing down and actually seeing what is the matter with it. I mean, we could tear it down now, but we're gonna save that for the next video. Gonna yank the transmission off it and pull the headers and all that other stuff, get it all nice and tidy.
Just load it like this, literally. They'll be like, he'll be like
Who?
The surprise.
The surprise. So anyhow, we have a surprise that's happening with this engine. I think that's gonna be it for this video, though. I mean, the engine's out. It's on the engine stand. Well, it's not on the engine stand.
It didn't take us 40 hours.
It didn't take us 40 hours. Basically yesterday we started on it at
3 o'clock.
like 3 to 4 o'clock, and today it's 5 something, and we really didn't start on it until 2 hours ago today. So
I probably did 8 hours
it's
yesterday and then 3 hours.
it's out of there. Definitely a learning experience. These Audi clips are like the worst clips I've ever experienced in my whole entire. Like, I hate them.
Why?
They suck.
All
like
you do is push them in. Like, they're literally the easiest clip. All you do is
whatever,
push
Dave.
them in.
I hate them. I don't really like them.
You
So
just gotta push in and then pull out.
ooh, David. We might tease you guys with some pictures on Instagram.
Pictures.
Or the
This is what's
K24.
happening.
Or the K24 swapped in there. So if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, MotionAutoTv on Instagram, and if you guys aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. There is a notification bell, so if you guys want to be the first ones to know when I upload videos of this thing, that thing, just all the things, you can. There's a little notification bell. So I really appreciate you guys watching. All the new people that have kind of came on board with for the R8 and the last minute 300,000 subscriber push. I really appreciate it. And so yeah, we'll see you guys next video tearing down this engine.